Nancy? Good morning.
Hello.
It's on. Good morning.
As we prepare to begin, please turn off your cell phones and put them away for the remainder of the service. My name is Nancy Sorenson. I will be your worship assistant today. In addition to having Belinda Huber providing our music, Javier is our usher. And you're doing PowerPoint slides?
Yeah.
And thank you very much. And David Coleman is the video tech for today. Thank you to Maria and Sherry for taking care of distributing the prayers to our prayer group and Silent Unity each week. Thank you all for being part of the service today. If this is your first time, would you please stand and tell us your name and where you're from?
My name is Leanne Gibson. I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
Welcome.
And she's my next door neighbor.
Lovely. Thank you. We're glad you're joining us today. If you'd like to receive our newsletter email notices, please sign the sheet.
Well,
We got one more.
we got one more.
I am so sorry.
Hi, I'm Kara Carson, and I'm from San Antonio.
Nice to have you.
Forgive me in my nervousness to just skip right over you. I did meet you in the kitchen, so glad to have you here today. We will be happy to include you in our mailings. We won't share your email or personal information without your consent. You'll notice our activities listed in the bulletin. If you have any questions, please ask Reverend Jay or a board member, and they will be happy to tell you more. Today is already November 16th. Just remember that we reuse the jackets from your order of service throughout the month. So take the insert and you can keep that, leave the jackets for next week. And please feel free to pick up a complimentary copy of the Daily Word that's also back at the back of the room, and take it with you. We are always collecting dry goods, toiletries, and to pass on to various burning groups who need help. There's a container by the front door every week for any donations. The nominating committee, which is chaired by Ann Gully, and everybody knows Ann here, will start looking for candidates for the next board this month. We will be voting for 3 new board members in our annual meeting next February. Chris Diaz and Pat Pardon are looking for a 3rd person.
No, not anymore. That's Ann Kelly.
That's Ann.
That happened this morning.
If you have any interest in serving, please let them know.
Well done.
All meetings are now held on Zoom. Please join us for our Thanksgiving potluck after the service today. You're welcome to stay even if you didn't bring a dish. We always have plenty of food. We need volunteers to help with cleanup after we eat today. I'll do the dishes, just be sure to use those ones there, and wiping down tables, putting back chairs. We appreciate a team effort then. We have the following live groups every month. The Edgar Casey Study Group every 2nd and 4th Friday, except not this month or next month, so just the 2nd Fridays, November and December. It meets from 12 to noon. And the men's brunch group is on the first Saturday of the month from 10 to 11:30. The Sunday morning book discussion is every Sunday 9:30 to 10:30 in the fellowship room. The new book study begins next week, and it's titled Wherever You Go, There You Are, by John Kabat-Zinn. Come for coffee, tea, and stimulating conversation. If you are here for the first time, or if you're not getting emails, we have a sign-up sheet in the back by the front door, and you could leave your name and email address, and you will be put on the list to receive monthly newsletters, weekly announcements about upcoming Sunday service, and occasional reminders or special notices. If you've been attending and aren't getting the notices, put your name down again. You can always unsubscribe at any time. Be sure to check your spam folders for that. Also, we are encouraging everyone to start wearing your name tags since we have some new people here. We have several things happening on Zoom, and there is information on the insert in your bulletin. You're welcome to take the insert with you. And also the information of activities is on our website at unityoffernie.org. That's all our announcements. Please stand as we sing the celebration song 33. Keep your heart singing.
With a halo of delight, singing all the while. Keep your heart singing all the while. Make the world brighter with a smile. Keep the song ringing, ours may beguile. If we keep our heart singing all the while. If His love is in your soul and we yield to His control, His music will the lonely hours beguile. We may drive the clouds away, cheers and bless the darkest day, if we keep our heart singing all the while. Keep the heart singing all the while. Make the world brighter with a smile. Keep the song ringing, lonely hours may beguile. If we keep the heart singing all the while. Word of love will cheer, kindly hope and banish fear. Soothe the pain and take away the sting of love. Oh, God wants you always to in the world. If we keep the heart singing all the while. Keep the heart singing all the while. Make the world brighter with a smile. Keep the song ringing, lonely hours may beguile. If we keep the heart singing all the while. And please be seated.
Thank you. Please be seated. Inside your bulletin, you'll find a prayer request form. For any prayer requests, you can drop them in the offering
Closer to the
basket
mic.
later. Inside your bulletin, you'll find a prayer request form. For any prayer requests, you can drop them in your offering basket later, and they will be put with the other prayer requests. Our own prayer team prays over them for a week, and they are also sent to Silent Unity, where they are prayed over for a month. Now we will have the daily word read by Chris Diaz.
As we quietly and gently prepare for the reading of the daily word, remember we are in spirit with millions of daily word readers and churches throughout the world. The Christ candle is lit as a reminder of the Spirit of God within all of us, which we call the Christ within. The word for today is healing. The affirmation is, taking good care of myself supports my healing. Sometimes it's hard to say no to friends, family, work, church, or volunteer organizations I care about and want to serve. But when I am overextended and depleted, I don't do my best, and I may put my emotional, physical, or mental health at risk. Taking on too much and saying yes to every request may be a sign there is something deeper within me that is out of alignment and in need of healing. Perhaps I am feeling fear of judgment or a reluctance to disappoint someone. I heal when I slow down, pray, and welcome God's grace. I treat myself gently and make time for relaxation a priority. Secure in divine love, I know when to say yes, or for my well-being to kindly but confidently say no, not this time. From Psalms 103, verses 2 and 3. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and do not forget all his benefits, who forgives all your iniquity, who heals all your diseases. Again, the affirmation, if you would join me in saying it,
Speak up.
is
Taking good care of myself supports my healing. See, says so right there.
My name is Chris, and I am so glad to see all of you here today to worship with our family.
Thank you, Chris.
And please stand and join us for the call to faith together.
I am a radiant being of divine light, full of courage and confidence, and so it is. We have heard the tale. Jesus heals, Jesus heals, spread the tidings all around. Jesus heals, Jesus heals, spread the news to every land, till the earth in homage yields, on which is the Lord's command. Jesus heals, Jesus heals, with the dawn, the rolling tide. Jesus heals, Jesus heals, tell to nations far and wide. Jesus heals, Jesus heals, sing the islands of the sea, till mankind the glory feels. Earth shall keep her jubilee. Jesus heals, Jesus heals, give the winds the mighty voice. Jesus heals, Jesus heals, and the nations now rejoice. Jesus heals, Jesus heals, Jesus tidings full and free. Christ's love to man reveals. This our sing of victory. Jesus heals, Jesus heals.
And now our mission statement together.
Unity of Learning is a vibrant, loving, spiritual community providing a sacred space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate the Christ within all people.
Thank you. You may now be seated. And I turn this service over to Jim.
Well done.
Well, good morning. Oh, you'll be back there. Okay, see, it just seems a little light on make sure that everybody's here. I missed you all last week. It was a Sunday off that I get on months with 5 Sundays. And got to enjoy an NFL watch party with some buddies. And it was fun, but I thought afterwards I missed you all. It was in the back of my mind. I do. I think about things. I couldn't tune in because I wasn't really able to, but I trust Susan did a good job. And so I'm glad you're here. If you were here last week, of course, I'm glad you were there then. And anybody who comes here seems to find that this church and in this group, love is the undergirding principle. I hope you feel that this morning, no matter when you come, and that you make this place your home, your spiritual home. Because I've said we're an oasis of love, and I hope you feel it today. We're a praying church as well. And so right now, as Maria brings the prayer box forward, you'll find in your bulletin a piece of paper that you can write down your requests. They'll be sent to Silent Unity, and they'll be prayed over for 30 days. But first, I will pray over them, and then a team of dedicated prayer partners will do that here. So you're getting prayer, and we affirm the goodness and the wonder and the grace of God in all our prayers. And we're going to do that this morning right now. Loving and infinite presence, we give thanks that you are with us, constant companion, whether we realize it or not, that you go with us and make the crooked way straight, and we rely on your vision and your presence. Today we know there are all manner of requests in this box that range from those that need or supplicate, all of those who are celebrating in joy, and all the permutations in between. We ask that you appear to them as they need it. You are the great comforter. You are the way shower. You're our guide. We lean on truth, and the truth that's behind the truth that is behind everything is love. We feel that right now. It encircles us. We feel peaceful and we feel calm. We feel resolute in letting our prayer requests go into the infinity of your love, to the ocean of your mercy, and the sea of your grace. We love and let go and claim it is so. Amen.
We can be the change. Now you have a special part in this. You're going to sing. Oh, I need some sound. Here we go. We can be the change. So you're going to sing. We can be the change whenever you see it come up. And then the second section has be the change. Be the change. You'll figure it out. It's good. You'll feel it. And feel free to tap and clap, whatever you would like to do. Okay, let's get this going here.
Whoa.
We can be the change.
Belinda.
In the midst of his children, the Lord said that he would be. Just a day, very many, it can be just two or three. I feel the same spirit that I felt oftentimes before. Surely in saying, I live with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. The presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. You're up.
This is a time in our service where we engage in what's known as meditation. It's almost overused word. But it is the place where we release our limited human understanding and affirm divine grace and love and support and help. And I invite you right now in the upcoming silence that you bring to mind those things that may trouble you, those people that may have disappointed or hurt you, those things that we get just by living. Silence is the element in which great things fashion themselves, really, because that's when we hear the voice of God. So in this upcoming few moments of silence, I invite you to know three powerful truths. You are, God is, and a mighty presence is working in your life right now. as we emerge from this wonderful restorative healing time, we affirm our answer comes quickly. My answer doesn't fail me, for the law of the universe is the power through which it comes. I neither doubt nor fear, for the answer is swift and certain. And it comes to me in perfect ways, in perfect time, under grace. And so it is. Thank you, Belinda. Well, I hope each one of you know that you're connected this morning. You're connected whether you know it or not. You're connected to an infinite source of power that never leaves you nor forsakes you. It was said by the great Master Jesus, "Lo, I'm with you always, even unto the end of the world." That's a long time. In other words, that presence is always here and among us. We have to reach out from our smallness that we feel and grab on to the greatness that is available. It actually lives in us. The power is there, for, as it says in Scripture as well, we were not given a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. You are connected. When you're grieving, when you hurt, when you feel misunderstood, when you need another chance, when the road you're walking seems so difficult, know that you are never alone. That's what I think ministers through the years have tried in many ways to say and to put over in their talks. Some people like to do this, some in my profession like to do this with an element of fear attached to it. In other words, if you're not walking the straight and narrow, as Archie Bunker says, God is plenty sore at you. I prefer to say that if I'm not walking in that grace and in that light, I am robbing myself. That presence remains a constant. It is love, it can't leave. It is my divine inheritance. And so what I need to do is get back in tune with that infinite flow. That's the connection that I want to talk about this morning. Usually when we think about having connections, we think about, political connections or job connections or somebody we know that can help us. I know I thought like that. My father, before he was a clinical psychologist, was a teacher. And he was a teacher of math. And he had a son, his only child, who despised math. And we were talking one day when we were moving things from the house into the storeroom and carrying a series of boxes. And I was complaining to my father that bad mark that I got on my report card wasn't due to my lack of application. It was just that I don't have the chops for math. And he said, "No, you're not applying yourself. I want you to listen to me." We were walking with these boxes. And I want you to listen to me. I want you to hear me. Do you trust your father? Yes. There is nothing mathematically wrong with you. You make all these wonderful grades in English, and you have these marks that are less than perfect in math. And I said, "Dad, I just don't have this aptitude." He said, "Put the box down." I put the box down, and he looked me square in the eye, and he said, "You can do it, you just don't want to do it." Well, that got to me. So, picked up and went forward, and I said, "But maybe it just isn't for me. He said, Jay, put the box down. He stood in front of me and he said, I believe in you. I know you can, and I know you're just like me because I had the same thing happen to me that happened to you. It's like you're reliving my life. I made worse marks than you did in math. And he said, and who knows, you may enter a profession in which you will enjoy math and work with it. And I said, Dad, put the box down. He thought a little too much of me at that time. I knew that that wasn't really my forte, that there were other things that I wanted to do. But you know what I had? I had a connection with a man who knew, he was my father, who knew all these things, and I could ask him, and he would help until I came to realize that I really was not applying myself, that I thought in pictures more than numbers, that I preferred word problems to numbers. I mean, what kind of sadist invented 2 with a little 2 over it and a dot, minus 2 in parentheses, plus 17? I mean, you just, it goes, but if you say it in a problem, in a paragraph, I do very well. So it's just the preferred manner of learning. Literally bless his heart. He's gone now, but he taught well. And not only mathematic lessons, but lessons about life. And it came time that we would talk about, he and I would talk about the connection that all of us have to God. He was a very spiritual man, and I learned a lot at his feet. But it came time for me to go off on my own and do my own thing, so to speak. And as I was I guess you would say, seminar leader and motivational speaker 30 years ago, I began this or more. I came to find out that most people have a problem with downselling their connections with themselves and others. In other words, they bought a lie about who and what they are. Why? Because we live in a society that is need-based. If I can convince you to buy my product because you're lacking in some area, I have made the sale. In other words, I have to convince you that there's something I have that you need. Well, let me tell you something. This minister tells you, as far as God is concerned, there is nothing that I have that you need. You have the power. It's within you. I'm here to remind you of your connection. Your connections with the divinity inside. Now, how do, you say, well, that's all well and good, you're a pastor. How do you know that I've got divine connection? Haven't you had your breath taken away? Haven't you had moments in your life that you wish that you could just go back and repeat just for a flash? They were so wonderful, so marvelous. Words failed you. When words fail, especially when words fail a ministry, that's a good thing. We can step back and just be. Now, I'm being a little hard on those in my profession, but I've seen the damage that can be done by those who are trying to say, you're loved, but you've got to do it a certain way. You've got to do it your way. Approval seeking is one of the, I think I don't want to call it a disease, but it's certainly something that we bought into in our lives. We look to outer authorities that we think are better connected than we are and advice to how to live our lives. And many people in my profession think, if we just get up before a bunch of people and I look cute and I say a few words that sound good, gosh, I'll feel good about me. You know what? I'm not going to feel good about me and my work until I've convinced you of what I know to be true for the last 40 plus years, long before I entered ministry, when I found truth that I know that I'm connected with the Spirit that put this whole thing in motion. How do I know that? Not only from the things that take my breath away, not only for those memories that were so loving, how about this? Even the bittersweet ones sometimes. You want to go back and revisit those things that at the time may have hurt a little bit. Not big tragedies, but you remember through the prism of your mind and you wish you could just revisit it. Science has no words for that. They have words like neurons and polypeptides and dopamine. These are all scientific words to describe what really words can't really describe. I mean, can you tell me what it's like for you to love somebody personally? Can you tell me what it was like to have the best memory you ever had? We use words to do that. But we always feel like we're lacking because there's something bigger in us behind that wants to say more. And this is what I'm talking about. This presence that consistently calls us to be better than we were yesterday and still tomorrow be better than we were. That doesn't mean we're on a hamster wheel or we're being judged or graded. It means that life is a progression of learning. If you could tell me a reason for why else we're here, I'd like to know it. Because the great metaphysicians of old and those who believed in reincarnation said that the soul, the individual soul, cannot experience everything that it has to grow toward its godhood in the space of 80, 90 years or less, depending on the life. In other words, we can't do it all in this wisp of time. There's an eternity for us to learn. How quickly are we going to learn our connectedness with Source? All the people that we think we know and love, and we do. I'm not saying that we don't. But they are pale imitations of the connectedness that you have applicable to you right now. Maybe you need to put your box down and listen for a moment and start believing the truth of those who tell you that no matter what mistakes you've made, no matter what you've gone through, no matter what sicknesses you've endured, no matter anything that's come against you, when you surrender that to the holy, loving Spirit that is within you, you are going to get an answer, and you're going to get help. H. Emily Cady said, "In the heart of man a cry, and in the heart of God supply." Emmett Fox, in his great golden key, said, "Whatever your difficulty is," and I'm going to paraphrase, "think about your connection with God." He said, "Think about God and watch things change." He also said, "Love, if there's sufficient love, you can do anything. You can move your mountains. Love is the answer. Love is the great healer." How many times do we have to say that before we believe it? We have to do it as many as it takes. My teacher said, "He wins who endures to the end." You're going to have all kinds of things out there tell you you're not enough. You're going to want to seek approval. It feels good to have people clap for you. It feels good for people to nod in agreement and say, "Yeah, that's right." Sometimes it takes a whole lot of courage to stand alone in the sacredness of your own being and say that no matter what I've heard outside, including what this minister said, no matter what I've heard, I'm going to be quiet and go inside and hear the truth for me. And sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable because you're going to be challenged to come up in another way. The great psychiatrist, who was not a New Thought leader, but wrote a great book called The Road Less Traveled, M. Scott Peck, said, "Life is difficult." That's true. That sounds like a negation of everything we teach, doesn't it? But it's not. Because what we call difficulties, the Spirit calls opportunity for growth. The great architect of the universe did not build a staircase leading nowhere. There's no such thing as something that's meaningless in your life. If it's there, it has something to teach you. If it's there, you learn from it. And guess what? You're going to teach somebody else what you learn. When you learn in fear, you teach in fear. When you learn in upset and negativity and forgetting the connectedness of the real love in you, and you let your ego go forward and start beating people over the head with the ideas you have, you've forgotten who you are. You've allowed ego to puff up a great big picture that's just as illusory as it can be. Because what I'm talking about today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And what's another word for the truth that we celebrate with a capital T here? It's love. Paramahansa Yogananda of Self-Realization Fellowship said if there was just sufficient love, if we could just realize that we don't really have separate interests, if we could just take this, but he called it Kriya Yoga, some people call it meditation, some people call sitting in the silence. But it doesn't matter what you call it. It matters that you do it. He said if we could let go this identity that we built around who we think we are, because we've been taught from the time we were born to walk away from that which we really are. In other words, most of the things in our life by the age of 8, 9, or 10 are pretty well established for us. We've been told what kind of person we are, who we should be with. I mean, this is part of being raised. But almost invariably, we're taught to look outside our own selves to somebody else who can save us, or who can direct us, or who knows better. I love it when somebody says, I'm honoring the light in me, even if it looks like a little strange. I've got to do this. I've got to walk my way. You know why I love that? Because I did it. I knew that all the work I'd done in the business and corporate world was not going to fulfill me. I had to teach this because not only did I live it, I love it. And I loved it 40 years ago, and I love it more today. And when I think about Yogananda saying those wonderful words, sufficient realization of who we are, going into the ether, into the silence, and grasping a hint, just a hint of who we are in reality, all of a sudden, your smallness, your limitations, your upsets tend to take a back seat because you realize, I am the light, and I am the love of God. If you're not, who is? Somebody else? A spiritual authority? A teacher? Somebody that you respect? Well, they all have love. But so do you. If I had to give any words that would sum up my whole entire time in 30 plus years of doing this work, I would say this, to remember, you are the light of God. In a world that is profiting from you forgetting that. Somebody else has the power, some teacher, some authority figure, anybody else. And have you heard some people say your best thinking got you into this problem? Well, that may be true. But it's going to be your own thinking that gets you out of it. Even if you accept the other person's ideas. But if you do, you might realize that that connection was never really yours. It belonged to somebody else. And you're walking the way somebody else told you to walk. Yes, it can be scary to think like this. To feel a sense, maybe to begin with, of existential aloneness. But rise up into the knowledge that you are it. As Walt Whitman said, the theory of the universe is namely that is directed to one person, you. Because there's only we. Think about this. There's only you and there's only we. There are no true separate interests from the people that you walk into every day. How do I know that? Because we all breathe, we all eat, we all love. We may do these things in a convoluted way, but we're all seeking more life, more pleasure, less pain, and less misery. So some people choose to do that in very, unhealthy ways. That's what addictions are about. That's what the when you sell your birthright, as it's called, for a mess of pottage, like the prodigal son did, and forgot his connection. Anything I've done over my career has been to remind people of that connection. I sat on my day off after that football party. I had some VHS tapes about this high, and I go into the place where I watch it, and they're me giving seminars years ago. You know, I popped that in. I'm one person that still has a VHS. I know they're very rare. I looked at that. You know what the first thing? This is really sad. The first thing I thought of when I popped one of those in there. You look fat. And I was 220 pounds. And I was up there talking about the golden key and all these things, and I was pretty hefty. But I noticed as I watched in ensuing time, I got it down. I realized that I could do these things, but I was sort of hefty. But one thing that I realized when I looked at that, I was kind of mesmerized, not because I was so good, but because the message that I was trying to get across then is exactly the same one that I'm telling you today. My teachers that I respected told me that most people are scared to death of the words, "You're it. You're the one you've been looking for. You have the power." And any teacher, minister, therapist worth their salt helps you discover your own power and not supplant it with an idea of what you should be. To those leaning on the sustaining infinite, yes, today is big with blessings. Ms. Eddy was right. Mary Baker Eddy was true. She also said, divine love has always and will always meet every human need. We need these words because they form pictures in our mind and we go out and live them. I said we don't live in words, we live in pictures. And that's a subject for a whole nother message. And I look forward to giving it. Because I love what I do. And I love the people in front of me. And I see potential right here. I'm not saying that you have a litany and a laundry list of things that are wrong with you. But just by being human, you have a list of things that you may have picked up a year ago, 2 years ago, and if you believe in prior lives, maybe 10,000 years ago. Maybe so far, do you know how much of a work in progress you really are? Or is there a forgetfulness that falls across us as we enter this life? As we learn what we need to learn, whether it takes one lifetime or thousands of them. What we all want to do is get home. And this is the sum and substance of what I want to tell you today. The connection to getting home. The idea of, some people say, breaking the cycle of birth and death. Some people say, just being happy. How do you do that? Grace did that for you already. Even if you don't believe in Christ Jesus, any teacher that's out there tells you that what you have to do, any teacher out there that's good, tells you what you have to do is release the limited ideas of what you are, the illusion of what you are, the mirage that you've created over a period of time. Become acquainted with the real you, the perfect you. Here you are. Going through a lot of things that make you feel like you're not. But you're perfect. How do I know that? Because you're a child of God. It says in Genesis that God created man and woman, Adam and Eve, the allegory. And it said a great sleep fell across Adam. You know what? It never talked about Adam awaking from that sleep. We're hypnotized. And we want to be hypnotized. You know why magicians work so many times? I have a magician friend that I talk to a lot. And he said, you know why it works so much of the time? Because people want it to work. We're suckers for seeing this happen. We want to have that entertainment. We don't want to see through the illusion. We don't want to see through the veil. We don't, as like the Wizard of Oz, we don't want to know that behind that curtain was a tiny little man turning dials that projected a picture that was, oh, so awesome, and I'm in charge. There's a tiny little person in you turning dials this morning, telling you how to think, what you should be, what to remember, how to walk, how to act, how to anything but your own nature. It drowns it out. And why does it do that? Because we're afraid. And why are we afraid? Because we don't want to stand alone. And why don't we want to stand alone? It's scary. But I'm telling you, and Shirley MacLaine said this, whatever you may think of her, I loved it. To get to the fruit of the tree, you've got to go out on a limb. You've got to be willing to have that thing break. Jonathan Livingston Seagull said the same thing. Richard Bach wrote that book. To become what you are, you've got to be willing to fly higher and farther and risk the greatest crashes you might have. You remember in that book, if you read it, Jonathan crashed a number of times. And he'd get up and shake it off, and all the gulls would look at him, and they'd say, what a fool he is, trying to go faster and farther and higher. All those that stayed on the beach. I don't think anybody wants to stay on the beach this morning. I really believe down deep in the connection that I'm talking about, I haven't believed that you will soar and be more of who you were meant to be. I don't think you want to, it sounds, exchange your birthright. Because the things of this life are fleeting. The good times, and they are good, and the bad times, and they can be bad, they all come to pass. What's eternal? What's real? Ask yourself that. We've all heard that joke. You never see a U-Haul attached to a hearse. But it's true. I do like I love Frank Sinatra, and I love what he did. When he died, he asked that a bottle of Jack Daniels, a pack of Camels, and a telephone be put in his casket. And they did it. I don't understand the phone, because I don't understand how it's wired in, but maybe he just wanted the idea that maybe he could communicate, because I don't know what that phone's going to work. And neither is that booze or the cigarette's going to work. But that was something he loved here. But he goes on in his eternal destiny, taking the lessons, the only lessons he could have taken, or we could take, is the love we gave and the love we received. And we call those things that. The Old Testament says, say those things that are not as if they are. Sound like affirmations. The truth will set you free. The life abundant is yours. In Jesus' presence, people were healed. They didn't have to do anything. They didn't have to fall down and beg. His presence was so full of love that those around him were lifted up in love. That's what I'm talking about. That's the connection I'm talking about this morning. And it's not 2,000 years old. It's far older than that. And far newer than that. It was, it is, and it always will be. Bless you as you go forward this week. Bless you as you remember who you are. And bless you most especially as you give that love that you receive and connected to always. God bless you. And now we come to the part of our service that ministers like this. I mean, well, you know, we've got to collect the tithe because so much wonderful things are happening. Look at this church with people that are in it, almost filling it up. I mean, we're growing, we're going, and we're doing so much online. And I just want to say one thing real quick. We have a Monday evening book study that I invite you to tune into. The Zoom passcode is on our Facebook page. We have Course in Miracles on Wednesday night, we have Pathfinders on Thursday night. We are doing many things, and I invite you to be a part of it. Those of you that are online and part of that, you know that already. And I invite you to give your best gift, because this effort, this work takes money. So if you could press the PayPal button at Unity of Bernie's homepage, or give your best gift by check to Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. Again, that's Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. God bless you. You'll be blessed for giving. And now, as Javier comes forward, I invite you to give the blessed offering of which you're able. Thank you. Together with great love in our heart and with great intention and expectation, we say, Divine love
Through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love.
Well done, you.
Between your heart and mine, love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
Together we stand and join hands and just feel comfortable in doing so. Together we say, the light of God surrounds